The atmosphere was tense, almost suffocating, when my sister Lily blurted out her shocking revelation. "You know I wasn't going to say anything, but I had an affair with your fiancé," she announced, her words hanging in the air like a thunderclap. For a moment, I could hardly comprehend what she meant. Confusion flooded my mind and I stammered, "What do you mean? I'm not quite following you here." Lily's expression was a mix of defiance and vindication as she continued, "How can you not understand? We're adults, aren't we? I've been intimate with him, and now I'm pregnant with his child. Do you get what that means?" The gravity of her words left everyone in the room speechless, but she was undeterred, pressing on with a smug confidence. "Unfortunately, Julia, you're not needed anymore. He is going to be my husband now." I couldn't help but burst out laughing, a reaction that was both a defense mechanism and a disbelief at the absurdity of her claim. "What's so funny?" she demanded, her eyes narrowing. "I'm pregnant with his child, so I want him to be my husband now." At that moment, my mind was racing. "My name is Julie Johnson. I'm 28 years old, and I have a sister named Lily who is 4 years younger than me." Since childhood, Lily had been the center of our parents' affection, and this favoritism had always stung. Growing up, it felt like the love my parents poured into her overshadowed any recognition they had for me. I could barely remember my own birthdays being celebrated, while Lily received extravagant gifts and lavish parties. When I voiced my feelings to our parents, they brushed me off claiming, "We doted on you so much before Lily was born." This inequality in affection took its toll on me, creating a deep sense of resentment. As I watched Lily thrive under our parents' unwavering attention, I became increasingly closed off. The words of my parents echoed in my mind. "We can never understand what you're thinking, or if you dislike us so much, just go live your own life." I took their dismissals to heart and realized I needed to fend for myself. While Lily was fully supported in her education, attending a private college, I was pushed into the workforce right after high school without any qualifications or a diploma. I ended up taking a low-paying job as a cleaner in a hotel, feeling as though I had been cast aside. Amid this challenging environment, I met someone who changed everything. My husband, Jack. Our paths crossed at the hotel where I worked, and it all started one day when I stumbled upon a luxurious-looking wallet and a beautiful fountain pen in the men's restroom. The items were clearly expensive, recognizable even to someone in my position. Instead of taking them for myself, I returned them to the front desk, prioritizing honesty over temptation. To my surprise, the hotel staff informed me that the manager wanted to thank me personally. I was led into a reception room, dressed in my cleaning uniform, feeling utterly out of place. The manager, impeccably dressed in a fine suit, was tall and stylish, exuding a charming presence. When he recognized the items I had returned, he expressed deep gratitude, bowing slightly. That manager was Jack. This encounter sparked an ongoing connection between us. Jack admired my honesty and began visiting me while I worked, bringing small tokens like drinks and snacks, and eventually inviting me out for dinner after my shifts. Our relationship blossomed, and 3 months later, Jack confessed his feelings for me and we started dating. Jack, despite being the manager of a luxury hotel, never flaunted his position. He was kind, sincere, and genuine, and I found myself increasingly drawn to him. However, I couldn't shake the fear of how my family would react to our relationship. Given the favoritism they had shown Lily throughout our lives, I doubted they would support my union with someone like Jack. I confided in him about my upbringing, apologizing for my family's past behavior, worried it might affect us. To my relief, Jack responded with love and reassurance, telling me there was no need to apologize for things beyond my control. As we spent time together, I experienced genuine happiness for the first time in years. We shared countless adventures, driving along the coast, enjoying shaved ice in the summer, and camping in the autumn, surrounded by the vibrant colors of the changing leaves. Each moment seemed to fly by, and soon, a year had passed in our relationship. One day, Jack became unusually solemn and asked if we could have a serious conversation. I was taken aback, sensing the weight of his words before they even left his mouth. He then presented me with a ring, a symbol of his commitment. Overwhelmed with happiness, I realized in that moment how deeply I wanted to build a future with him, despite the challenges that lay ahead. I nodded vigorously, tears streaming down my face, overwhelmed with emotions as I considered the reality of my commitment to Jack. Eventually, I decided it was time to introduce him to my parents. "Mom, Dad, there's someone I want you to meet, someone I've committed to spending my future with." However, in hindsight, I made a significant mistake. As my sister Lily persistently asked about my fiancé, I inadvertently began to share details about Jack, how we met, his background, and his job as a hotel manager. At the time, I thought it would be harmless since I assumed they wouldn't meet him, but I underestimated Lily's manipulative nature. Before long, a meeting between both families was arranged at a fancy restaurant chosen by Jack. My parents, upon learning that Jack was a hotel manager, suddenly treated me with a kind of reverence I had never experienced before. They played the roles of loving, supportive parents, attempting to create a facade of normalcy. Despite my reservations, I maintained a pleasant smile, all while knowing the truth about their treatment of me throughout my life. Jack was aware of my family dynamics, but his parents were unaware of the history, so I did my best to ensure that my parents' true colors didn't show. Jack came from a respected family, and throughout our relationship, neither he nor his family ever looked down on me for my background as a hotel cleaner. The irony of my situation was not lost on me. I felt warmly welcomed by his family, while I had been belittled by my own. The dinner began in a pleasant atmosphere, and for a moment, it seemed as if everything would go smoothly. I sighed in relief, feeling hopeful about our upcoming wedding. Just when I thought the evening was going to end without incident, Lily spoke up, her face wearing a familiar condescending smirk. "Hey, sis, there's something I want to talk to you about," she said, and I braced myself for the worst. I desperately wished she would keep her sarcasm to herself until we were home, but she pressed on. What she said next shattered the calm of the evening. "You know, I wasn't going to say anything, but I cheated with Jack." I couldn't comprehend her words. They were so outrageous that it took a moment to register. "What do you mean?" I stammered. "How can you not understand? We're adults here. Basically, I've been intimate with Jack, and now I'm pregnant with his child. Do you get what that means?" The table fell into stunned silence, the shock palpable as everyone processed her claim. Then she declared, "Sadly, Julia, you're not needed anymore. Jack is going to be my husband now." To my utter disbelief, my parents clapped their hands in joy, exclaiming how wonderful it was that their younger daughter was better suited for Jack. They went so far as to say that Lily was more charming and intelligent than her unsuccessful older sister. Jack and his parents exchanged glances of surprise, clearly taken aback by the drama unfolding before them. Unable to contain my disbelief, I decided to set the record straight. "You say you're pregnant with Jack's child, but that's impossible. He's physically unable to have children, and that's a medically confirmed fact." I had known about Jack's condition before we even began discussing having children. We had planned to adopt, and I intended to explain this to my parents later. I never imagined I would have to reveal it like this. Lily's claim was not only outrageous, but also entirely false. I later learned that the child she claimed was Jack's actually belonged to another man, someone she wasn't even dating. She simply wanted to become a mother quickly, regardless of the circumstances. With this knowledge, I seized the opportunity to expose the mistreatment I had endured from my sister and parents. I've been patient until now, but I never thought you would stoop so low as to try and steal my fiancé. You're truly a disgraceful sister. Jack and his parents supported my stance. Have you ever objectively looked at what you're doing? It's inhumane, they said, their voices filled with disbelief. Mortified, my sister and parents quickly left the restaurant, humiliated by the situation they had created. This incident served as a turning point for me. I made the decision to cut ties with my family entirely. I informed them that I would no longer be in contact and changed all my contact information. Jack and his parents stood by me, offering their support during this difficult time. Despite my complicated family background, they welcomed me into their family with open arms, and I felt a deep sense of gratitude for their kindness. Jack and I didn't have a grand wedding ceremony. We simply registered our marriage and became husband and wife. Later, we fulfilled our dream of becoming parents by adopting a boy and a girl. We now live happily surrounded by our children, creating a family filled with love. As for my sister, her attempt to disrupt my happiness backfired. She ended up having a falling out with the father of her child and found herself struggling as a single mother, facing the daily challenges that came with it. In contrast, I was grateful for the life I had built with Jack, filled with warmth and support, far removed from the turmoil of my past.